Hey everyone, I'm Jason Galka and welcome back to A Ship Called Relation. We are finally back after the little winter hiatus. And what better time to be back than springtime, which is right around the corner. Today I'll ships and get rid of all those winter blues. Plus we're also going to be talking sink or swim. We have some more stories for you. And later in the show, I'll also be answering your questions. So stick around on A Ship Called Relation. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Galka. Welcome back. It's A Ship Called Relation, and after a little mini winter hiatus, we are back just in time for spring. Today we are going to be dusting away those winter blues and spring cleaning your relationships. You can have a fresh new start getting out there, and even if you're single, we'll have some tips for you also. My girls are back. Yay, Brittany and Kelly. I missed you guys.
I know, we missed you too. We haven't been on camera in so long.
We haven't. No, well, I have, but you guys haven't with me. But it's been a great winter, I have to say. Like, I'm not a fan of the cold and the snow and all that, but I was busy with Fashion Week. I mean, that was a ton of fun. Yeah,
You were everywhere.
I was everywhere, and I think that's why I caught it a little cold just from running around all over the place. But we're back. Spring is tomorrow, actually. It's Thursday, March 18th, and Mother Nature isn't really welcoming it so much. We're due for some snow, unfortunately. But we're here to dust away those winter blues and spring clean everything, including our home and relationships. But first in the news, tomorrow, if you are in the Long Island area, our good friend Maureen Tower Nelson is having a recruiting night at Hanu Kitchen in Hop Hog. So if you're single and you're looking to mingle, come on down, okay? Details are on thedailyblue.com.
Yep, and they're on Facebook at the Get Lucky event. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, I'll be there actually with the mic. I'm going to be taking interviews. So I want to know, what you're looking for, and maybe Maureen can help you out. So come on down if you're free and if you're in the Huntington area. So here we go. Grab your dust rags, girls. It is time to spring clean those relationships. Now, we're all guilty of falling into the winter blues and eating all that junk and comfort food. I gained a little weight, but since joining the gym, I've lost it now. So my skinny jeans actually fit really well. So I'm here to tell you now the top 4 things that could work for you in just relighting the flame of passion coming into the spring. Because I always feel sexier in spring and summer.
Yes, less clothes.
Exactly. So here we go. The first thing that I recommend doing is to throw out all of that junk food and comfort food that's in your cabinets and your refrigerator. Replace all of that with more proteins, more vegetables, more fruits, more grains. All of those things actually, studies concluded this also, that it enhances your complexion, you look better, you feel better, and also more vitamins and fruits actually can boost your libido. So you can improve your sex life this spring also.
And your energy too.
And your energy. Well, yeah, that goes along with your libido.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the first thing on our list. Number 2. This is a big one that I always recommend, communicate to declutter. Like much of our items in the closet that tend to clutter up and make a big messy pile, you need to clean them out. So our relationships could also become cluttered when we bog up our feelings and don't directly communicate. Solution to that, communicate.
Yes.
Easier said than done for some people. And I know with a lot of people that have crazy careers, especially in our house where John and I are always running around with work and we spend a few hours a day. You have to make that time to talk with each other and communicate.
I also think that people have different ways of communicating. So if you're not talking face-to-face, sometimes someone can't get everything they want to say out face-to-face, but they're better at writing down their feelings. So I don't think that just because maybe your partner won't speak to you face-to-face in person, and maybe he communicates or she communicates in another way, I don't think that you should rule it out as they're not communicating with me because they're writing me a note. It's just their way of communicating.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as you get your feelings out, that's the big thing. And I feel like people that bog their feelings, I'm speaking from experience here in the past, when you bog down your feelings and just kind of bury them, when that straw breaks, like the last straw kind of thing, there's just a huge explosion.
Yes.
So you can totally prevent that and save your relationship if you just talk, communicate, or even write notes. I'm glad that you pointed that out, actually, because there's a friend of mine that's all she does with her husband. Like when they have like a tiff or a fight, she will leave him a note to find the next morning because he gets up before she does. So she'll actually write like a whole list of like how she's feeling, or a story rather, for him to read.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually kind of better in some ways because you can't be interrupted.
You're not going to scream.
Right.
I do it. We'll fight. I'll send a text or a note or something, and then later we'll talk about it. It's just a way for me to get my feelings out without like the anger taking over.
I've actually done it through Facebook, though. I've written John letters through Facebook.
Hopefully in a private message. Okay.
Yes. No. I mean, I air my dirty laundry here sometimes, but no. I mean, that's a great example, just to write down your feelings. Also, speaking of which, I mean, you guys have been living together for quite some time now. How is that going?
It's going really well.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, we like it.
Good.
It's no complaints.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, was it what you expected or?
It's definitely harder. Like when we fight, I'm used to just being able to take space and just be like, okay, I'm just not going to see him for 2 days. But now when we fight, it's like, I have to see you and I don't want to because I'm mad. So it's getting used to dealing with your problems right then and there, or else you're not going to talk for 3 days and it's going to be really awkward to live with each other. So
now, do you think it's made your relationship stronger?
This is awkward. I
She wasn't expecting this.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
All right, to be continued.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, establish boundaries. Also so important. Actually, it should probably be number 1 in some cases. Like those messy clothes that stem from our closet that wreak of havoc, relationships can do the same if you don't have healthy boundaries. Now, you need to establish boundaries in every relationship, not just your romantic relationship, with friends, with even family sometimes, because I think some of those people in our lives, even if they don't mean to do it, they tend to kind of take advantage of us. And we will, I mean, if you're like myself, where we will overextend ourselves and then put our needs second. I think that's not exactly a healthy way of handling it either. So boundaries is very important. Learn to say no if it's really, really going to be like a huge inconvenience to you, or if you're not able to put yourself first. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't do it effectively if you have too much on your plate, right? So if it's something that you just can't handle, say no, or else you're probably not going to do a great job at it.
True. Very true. So boundaries are very important. Learn to say no when you can, but that doesn't mean, you know, tell your mom, oh, I can't take you for your surgery tomorrow, you know. You know what I mean.
Because I have yoga.
Exactly. But this also falls into the category of needy and wanty significant others. And I know in both cases, okay, men and women are guilty of this, of being too needy, too clingy, which that you kind of have to really examine that whole relationship if you're in that type of situation and figure out if this is really for you or not.
Right. I think it's important to know exactly what you need in a person in a relationship and some of the things that you need to have to be in a relationship with them, and talk about it and see if they agree or disagree, because that's when later they're like, oh, you're so needy, all these things are coming up. But like, no, these are qualities that I need. And that's that.
Absolutely. Now, with living with Evan, because you're like so brand new to living with the boyfriend here, I mean, is he very needy of you, or are you very needy of him?
Am I needy?
I don't really think so.
No, he doesn't need much. Just, he gets hungry. He needs
they
food.
all do.
He needs food and water.
They're like a dog sometimes. It's like you just have their water bowl filled.
I think I'm more needy, if anything, but I don't really consider myself a needy person.
Right.
But, you know, I'm the one who's always has an issue or a need. So I guess he'd probably call me more needy than him.
Now, how does he handle that? I mean, does he, live up to those do you live up to those expectations, or?
He tries.
Yeah.
To. He tries to, when I say, like, oh, I need you to do this more, or more of this, or be more like this, he does make an effort. It takes him a little while. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 fights before it gets into his head, but eventually it does.
Well, I think because you're both so brand new to the whole living, I mean, you've never lived with anybody else other than your parents?
No.
And neither is he?
No, I did, we went to college, so we had roommates and stuff like that.
Okay, but this is different because, like, you're romantically involved now.
Yeah, and I really didn't notice, I didn't realize how hard it can be.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I like my space when I get mad or in a fight, and I'm like just learning how to deal with arguments differently.
Yeah. Has it been difficult for you?
Yeah.
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 It's a learning experience. I mean, I can remember when I first got out on my own, and I had my own place at first. It was like, okay, great, and then you start getting involved and you fall in love, and then you act committed or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you have to like relearn how to live all over again.
Yeah, you do. And you have to learn how to make time for yourself more, and because you're cooking, and you just everything is just so different.
Yeah.
Food's not going to be made for you when you get home, and you still need to make time to go to the gym, and it's just like, oh my God.
You have to make a schedule, really.
You do.
Yeah.
That's what it all is. Wow. But what a great learning experience, though. I mean, don't you feel so grown up?
Yeah.
I know. We wish we could go back to 10 years old sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, number 4, continue to show love and gratitude to those that actually deserve it. Okay. Like those fabulous stilettos that you have in your closet that you just absolutely adore. Continue to express the same love and gratitude to those who are important to you, and give you the same love and respect in return. That's important.
And for those that don't, shoo.
Yeah.
Clean them up.
Bye, Felicia.
Sweep them up. Bye, Felicia.
But that it kind of ties in with number 3, the established boundaries, because if you're not getting the same love and respect back from somebody, you really have to re-examine that relationship and find out, why am I here? A viewer actually wrote me a really nice story that she was saying how she feels like she gives up on relationships too soon, that I know you have to put work into it, but how much is too much? To answer that question, it's too much if you're the only one that's constantly putting in, and there's not 50-50. He should be putting in just as much as you, almost.
I agree.
Really.
Yeah.
And this goes for any relationship, gay, straight, indifferent.
And one thing I did notice is relationships are a lot of work.
They are.
Like, it's not all rainbows and happy
Everybody
times.
has
There's
it
a
easy,
honeymoon phase goes like that. So.
But some people will say, well, if it's so much work, why are you in them? Well, you meet a person, like for me, I met somebody that it's worth putting the work into, because we have more good than bad. Everybody has some bad for whatever reason. But when the good outweighs that, then you're willing to put the work into
and
it.
can the bad be changed? That's what you also have to look at, I think. If
Good
it's something that
question.
can't, then maybe it's not for you.
Excellent. So, well, we're actually going to take some of those viewers' questions right now. So, girls, you each have a question. I'm going to have you read it, and then I'm going to answer it.
You
Who wants to go first?
Sure. Okay. This one is, hi, Jason. I want to start a new relationship, but I'm scared. I'm scared because I always find it difficult to trust. I am, however, a dedicated lover, but I have been avoiding relationships for a long time due to trust issues. How can I solve this problem?
Okay.
What
I like
should
how he
she do?
says he's a dedicated lover. That's great.
Oh, it's a he?
It's a he.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He said, okay. Well, first of all, I think that this person probably has trust issues from being hurt in the past. There's no way to prevent that at all. Somebody is going to break your heart at some point in time. But the thing is, it should teach you to be more selective in who you meet next, and to really examine those qualities in a person. Is this the type of person that I'm going to benefit from, and is going to make my life better as well as theirs? So I don't think you should give up. I don't think you should give up on dating whatsoever. I think you should put yourself back out there, but be more selective of the people. And trust is something that is earned.
Yeah.
You can't buy it. You can't give it. It has to be earned.
Yeah.
So when you find that person, you'll know who it is. It's the best way I can explain it, because for the longest time, I kind of had the same thing. I mean, years and years and years ago, I was cheated on, which was devastating for me, because it was one of my first relationships. And of course, I was young. I was like 19 or 20, but it just makes you a stronger person, and you start to develop like a third eye, so to speak.
Exactly. Handle it like that. Don't not let yourself be put out there because you're too scared to. And you're never going to find happiness that way either.
Exactly. So. There's some things you can't prevent, but get out there, be selective, but also be very careful too. Give it some time. I mean, there should be a substantial amount of time that goes by before you say, I totally trust this person. So.
I agree. You ready for Anna?
I'm ready for Anna.
Hey, Jason. My friends all tell me I flirt with this guy that works for my dad, who happens to be my best friend and more like a brother to me. They say I'm flirting because I'll talk with him at the shop and have lunch with him. But again, he's more of a brother and BFF to me. I don't see him as a boyfriend. How can I convince my friends that I'm not flirting with him?
Well, first of all, I don't think, Anna, you have to prove anything to anybody. First of all, that's number one. I mean, if you have a great relationship with this guy and you've known him for quite some time, to call him your BFF and you look at him like a brother, it's kind of weird that your family and friends are saying that you're flirting with him. But maybe you are, and if you are, that's great, because it could blossom into something better. It's none of their concern. They're not you, they're not him, so they could even be jealous. I've run into situations where maybe the guy, maybe he's good looking, maybe she's good looking, and the friends are just jealous.
Yeah,
that
and some people are just, they have flirty personalities, and sometimes just the way that they act can come across as flirting to other people who are more conservative or reserved.
Right.
So it's just, they're just looking at it differently than she is, and who cares?
Yeah, the only person she should be concerned with thinking that is maybe him, if he's taking it the wrong way. But if he's not bringing anything up and it seems fine, like, there's no reason
It's not like
to worry about it. Yeah.
Like, so.
No, I agree. So, no, you have nothing to prove to nobody. Stay as is, be best friends. If it develops into something more, that's great. That's usually how it starts.
I want to read this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is a good one. Well, bad for her, but good. Dear Jason, my husband has cheated on me 3 times that I know of, and I'm sure plenty more times over the course of our marriage. I have forgiven him each time of the 3 times I know of, and yet I still stay. Each time he's cheated, I've been more hurt than the last. Why do you think I continue to stay, and how can I break the cycle? Carol.
All right, well, Carol, there's a lot of issues with that one. The first one is I think that she might be insecure, like you said earlier when we were proofreading them. I think that has a lot to do with it, and that goes back to just having self-confidence and looking at yourself for what you're really worth. And for a lot of people, unfortunately, that's easier said than done, which, I mean, I do this show based on my own experiences, and I've been there myself, and it just took me the time to learn, hey, this is me, and I have to love me for me, and that's it. That's something you have to convince yourself of. So the first thing you need to do is start loving yourself, because then that's when you're going to realize you could do better than this fool, and you're going to dump him.
Yeah, I think it also goes back to outweighing the good from the bad. And this isn't one indiscretion where it's like we normally have this great marriage, and you made this one mistake. It is a cycle that is repeating
itself. 3 times that she knows of.
3 times that she knows of.
It seems that there's more times than that.
Yeah.
It seems also to me maybe she's a little bit dependent on him, and she's afraid, like, what will I do if we leave? Like, I mean, they're married. They've probably been married for some time. I mean, he cheated on her 3 times. I hope they've been married 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, insecure, a little dependent, and scared. So.
I can totally contest to that, but I think that you need to find the strength in yourself, Carol. You need to look at yourself and say, I totally deserve better. Because everybody does. Nobody deserves that.
No.
I mean, if you're committing your life to somebody and you're loving this person and they're just constantly slapping you in the face and knocking you down.
And what are you if you leave, like, what are you scared of not being happy? Are you really happy now?
Right.
You shouldn't live your life like
but
that.
I know some women do tend to hold on for, like, the financial reasons, so to speak.
Yeah.
But that's just, you know what? You learn how to take care of yourself. It's just a learning process, unfortunately. I mean, I've been through, as I said, I do this show based on my own experiences. I've lost a house. I've had to get out on my own. I've lived through it. So you kind of learn to develop these skills as you go along. But first thing she needs to work on is her confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Join yoga.
Yeah.
You're real confident.
Actually, you know what? Join Zumba. Because I've been taking Zumba classes, and let me tell you, I shake my hiney and hips more than I ever did.
Don't
That's
watch
the most fun I've
yourself
ever had
while you
standing
do it
up.
in the mirror, though.
Yeah,
Don't watch yourself. You do not look as sexy as you feel. But
I don't know.
fun.
Actually, I like being in front of the mirror, like, because obviously. No, but like when you're doing the gym classes, like we joined LA Fitness, so you're in the class and you have nothing to look at but the mirror. It's like, I don't know, I kind of get into it. Like there's this move where you like really throw your hips out there and stuff, and I was like, ooh, I did that pretty good. So you really want to feel sexy, join Zumba. That'll boost your confidence. All right, and get you toned for the spring. Let me tell you, summer is around the corner, bathing suit season. Start working, girls. All right, It is time to move on. It is our favorite game of the half hour. Grab those cards, girls. We're going to decide fate on a story. It's time for Sink or Swim.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Here
All right, we ready? This is written by Lynn, who writes, Dear Jason, I'm in a very difficult love triangle. We love those. My husband is a doctor, so of course he works long days and is almost never around all the time. I'm a stay-at-home wife, and although I use my time well and keep myself busy, I miss the love and affection from a man, my man. He's just absolutely brilliant as a doctor, but due to his lack of time with me, I feel sort of like we've grown apart. I decided to join an outdoors club a few months back, and I met a nice young man, and we began to get closer each week until he finally asked me out. I tried to convince myself that it wasn't a date, but I just kept saying, we're just two friends going to dinner, two friends going to dinner. But I knew deep down that it was more. He picked me up and held my hand in the car all the way to the restaurant, bought me a wonderful dinner, and then took me down by the harbor for a walk. We ended up kissing. As wrong as it was, it felt so right because I missed that type of affection. The affection I'm no longer getting at home. A few weeks ago, we ended up making love. I didn't want it to happen because I knew it was wrong to do it behind my husband's back, but it just felt so right because, again, I'm missing that touch and sensation that I once got from my husband. I love my husband very much. I don't want a divorce, but I have needs and desires that he is just not filling right now. What can I do? I'm thinking of how I can break off this new relationship, but at the same time, I'm enjoying the sensation he is giving me. I just don't know what to do and how I can save my marriage. Any advice will be greatly appreciated. Signed, Lynn.
I feel kind of bad for her.
Yeah.
I know, and I never take the side of the cheater, but I do get it. I mean, has she tried talking to her husband about this, though?
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah,
No.
like, it definitely...
It sounds like she doesn't even like the guy that she's gone on dates with. She just wants what he's giving her. And
Right.
she wants it from her husband. And it's almost like she's just like reaching out to anyone who will give it to her.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, she needs to talk to her husband.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes back to our, what was it, number 2, where you really need to communicate, like even write a letter to him.
Yeah.
And just tell him how you're feeling. I mean, I feel for her too. I mean, we don't condone cheating here, but I'm a very affectionate person, so I'm totally with her on that one. But I really feel like before you're honest, and if you even want to be honest, even though you should be, you should try getting those feelings out into a letter. Maybe, leaving him a card on his bag or whatever he goes to work with, and let him just read it whenever he has the time and take it from there. But I think these are feelings that she really needs to get out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we do have to vote because it is a sink or swim story.
Who are we sinking?
Well, we have two sides here. We could sink or swim the new relationship that's going on. I think it's just a sexual relationship, or the marriage.
I would definitely sink the sexual thing she has going on, just because she needs to, like I said, just reevaluate and talk to her husband, and I'll give them a swim because I don't think she should give up yet, but she should really just try to communicate, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody makes mistakes, and I don't think this could be the absolutely worst possible thing that we've ever heard here. We've had worse.
Yeah, we definitely have.
But I think because she's just like crying out for this attention. I mean,
Yeah.
we all want that from our
Yeah.
men. I mean, that's what a relationship is about. If I didn't want love and affection, I would just be single.
I say let your relationship swim with your husband. You need to talk to him, and maybe he's just not an affectionate person like that. And if he's not, then maybe you need to consider finding someone who can give you the affection you deserve. In that case, if your husband's like, I can't give you what you want, sink him. But for now, swim with that man, and sink the play toy, whatever, the guy.
Yeah, the boy toy.
The boy toy, because you clearly don't like him anyway. You're just
Right.
using him for a second.
He's an FWB, but, So good luck to you on that one, Lynn. Hashtag FWB. I tweeted that the other day, and I got like so many favorites on it. It's amazing
found
what
out what
people
it was.
search by. So, all right. Well, we actually, before we go, we have a guest update. Do you girls remember back in January when we did our New Year's resolution topic and we heard from Joanna? She was somebody, very quickly, I'll just review to refresh your memory. She was taking care of her 82-year-old mother and was on and off with this guy that was 15 years older than her. He drank a lot, and within the first 3 weeks of January, he had already fallen like 6 times from being drunk. Well, if you missed that episode, go back and find it. Here's the update on it. Hi, Jason, it's Joanna. Well, it took me a while, but I finally did it. I broke up with the boyfriend. I don't know if you remember, but he was the one who drank too much and is 15 years older than me. I remember. Anyway, I confronted him about the money he owes me, and he said he will pay me half and I never have to see him again. Thank you for all your words of encouragement. You are absolutely amazing. Well, it's just so sweet. So good
strong.
for
I feel like
her.
half.
Good for her.
Yes.
Give me all of it.
Well, you know what?
No, but I remember
it's
talking about
better off
that,
letting it
saying,
go.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
better off.
Let it
Yeah.
It's sometimes the money's not worth it.
It's a lesson learned, really,
Yeah.
is what it is. You know,
At
I
least
mean,
you got half.
yeah, I mean, you're getting half. Even if you don't get that, it's like, hey, you're rid of this mess because I feel
Yeah.
like he's just going to drag her down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's gonna get a phone call that he's in jail, and she's gonna feel obligated to go bail him out, and that's gonna be more money. So let him go.
Yep.
Yep.
Let him go.
Good for her.
Yes. Happy ending today. I
Yeah.
love it. So, here in our spring cleaning episode, it is time to close. But before we do, I do want to remind you of the recruiting night tomorrow with our good friend Maureen Tara Nelson. She'll be back on the show next week, actually.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to talk about it.
There's gonna be
So, if you're
apps.
free, single, and free to mingle, come on down. I'll be there with the mic getting questions, sticking a mic in your face, and it's going to be a great time. I
It
mean,
is.
food, drinks.
Hors d'oeuvres and a cash bar.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So,
so, yeah.
bring some money, come on
Amazing.
down, have a good
Yeah.
time. Don't let the snow stop you. So, and also I'd like to point out also that starting April 1st, I am going to be a columnist in the Gay Geek Theory magazine. I'm going to be writing relationship
Congrats.
advice. Thank you. And we'll also be linking Ship Called Relation to their online version as well. So you
Very
could
cool.
read what I have to say and then watch it if you'd like.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
So,
Awesome.
yes, so good things happening. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so great to be back with everyone.
I
We had a
know,
great
I
time.
agree.
I'm getting over this cold, so forgive me if I've sounded a little today. But we'll see you next week. I'm Jason Galka. Thanks for joining us. Yay.